Great game by Penn. They really came out and played like an experienced veteran team who was fired up after having a disappointing loss. We knew that, after they lost that game, the Rice, they would come back with a vengeance, and they did that today. I thought they played very inspired basketball. They shared the ball. They dominated us on the glass, and I felt like they did a really good job of guarding us. So, tip my hat to Penn and Steve, and he has a good team, really good team.
Isaiah, you got some more run today than you did in the first game. You had some more points. Was kind of working for you today out there.
First of all, I just want to say it's not about the points. It's not about the playing time. I think with this team specifically, anybody can have a night like I had, and that's the beauty of our team. It's still early. We still got a lot to work on. But, I'm not really focused on points or minutes or, just personal accolades at this point. It's just about wins and losses. And right now we took a loss, so we got to go back to the drawing board.
Do you feel that makes you guys a little tougher to game plan against, where you have 7, 8 guys that are capable of putting 15 plus points up a night?
Most definitely, because, I feel like certain teams, they might game plan against a guy like me or a guy like Salle, just to return the leading scorer. But then it could be a guy like, Christian Ray or Dave Beatty that have a spectacular night and kind of throw him off. Or even just, our substitution pattern. We just keep throwing waves at him, just always have that high energy. So I feel like we can use that to our advantage once we get it going and get that rhythm.
What did you see from the Penn defense that kind of made it tough for you guys out there?
Penn is a great program. It's obviously one of the best teams in the area for a reason because they just stay disciplined. They don't gamble, they stay within their schemes. And I think that's what kind of made it hard for us because they were just so solid. They didn't take any risk, and it made it kind of difficult for us.
Isaiah, you've started a lot in your LaSalle career. What's been the mentality adjustment for you now coming off the bench, especially with all these young guys? How has that been an adjustment for you this season?
I don't really consider it an adjustment because early on in my LaSalle career, I came off the bench the same exact way. Majority of my starts, sophomore, junior year, came from injuries. And so I think the only difference is, just being ready and being aggressive as soon as I get on the floor, whether that's making a defensive play or getting to the rim, whatever the case may be, just staying ready.
Was it something, obviously most seniors, that, they want to be one of the first 5 guys out there. Was it something that you had to talk to Coach about, his expectations for you this year? Was that something that
Coach and I had our conversations about, what we both want, and then we both came to agreement on what's best for the team. And right now I feel like what's best for the team, it might be me coming off the bench, it might be me starting, but I think the biggest thing for me is just always trying to be a leader to the young guys, lead them in the right direction, whether that be, being vocal or just showing them, every single day how to put their hard hat on and get down to work. So I think for, me and Coach, our relationship is a lot better now, and it just shows that, being an older guy is kind of difficult because, sometimes, it's human nature that you want to start your senior year and be the front runner, but like I said, it's all about team success at this point, so this is what's best, and I'm all for it.
You guys are an aggressive defense. How did you feel like Penn was able to take advantage of that more than Iona did?
One thing about Penn offensively, we was watching film, they have a great pace offensively, and I think, just going through it was kind of difficult to replicate that pace because, this is an older, experienced team, so they know exactly, how to stay poised and cut hard within their offense. I think that kind of was difficult for us. But, like I said, it's a great opportunity to play guys like this early because it's definitely going to help us later on during the year.
When you guys are playing 10 deep, there's a lot of rotations, different lineups, different combinations. How much would you say you're still kind of learning, especially with all the new players and the transfers and stuff, still learning where guys like to have the ball, how they like to play? Where are you guys at in that process?
It's an everyday grind. We're not going to get it overnight. We all understood that as a unit. So, we just got to get back to the drawing board, watch a lot of film, get back to practice, just keep working. Our goal and our slogan is to get better every day. So that's all it's really about.
What has it been about Isaiah? He said you guys have a much better relationship, which implies that it had to improve. Can you talk about that process and sort of feeling each other out and his role this year?
Well, last year I came in, I just had different expectations for all of our guys than they were used to, and it was a growing pains for the players and for me as a coach, just trying to learn them, and we had some guys leave the program, and when Isaiah made the decision that he was going to return, that showed a lot to me because I knew that he understood where I was trying to take the program, and he wanted to be a part of it. So that meant a lot. Then, once we got our young guys on campus and we started, starting to mold our team, I just felt like our depth was our biggest asset. And if we could have an experienced guy that's coming in the game with younger guys, as opposed to making a substitution pass where I'm putting all young guys in the game together, that will help our team. Right? And Isaiah, he's been great. He's embraced his role. Even after the Iona game, didn't play a lot. His attitude was unbelievable. He encouraged his teammates. He cheered for them. His body language was awesome. And then he came to work the next couple of days in practice, and I told him, I said, yo man, this is how, we need you to handle it. And I think because he had the right attitude, during the Iona game, during this week, I thought that's what gave him the opportunity to come in and have a decent game today versus Penn. I know that we all would have rather won, but I thought Isaiah was a bright spot. What he brought to the team today was a bright spot.
The other one, maybe a bright spot, second half, you kept Akeem out there. What were you seeing, and what's been sort of the progress flow for both your freshman guards?
Well, honestly, it's hard for them. It's a challenge for both of them because as a guard, you want to get a flow, right? So I got to figure out a way to get those guys on the floor and establish the flow, because those two guys are going to be great players in our program. I thought today Yende played with a little bit more energy than Sharif, and it was evident. We got down big in the second half, and Yende was the guy that really sort of kind of battled back to make it a respectable game. I thought he made some good offensive plays, but I thought he was disruptive defensively, created some turnovers, which gave our team energy, right? So. They're young guys, and right now they're playing their first college games. It's their first Big 5 game against the defending Big 5 champs, and hadn't played like it today. And it's a great opportunity for our guys to learn from today's loss.
So playing aggressive defensively, what are you giving up in terms of not just like a cut or something like that? Or I'm thinking about the rebounding end. Like what's
So I thought the two things that hurt us today, obviously the rebounding margin, the turnovers, and I thought our communication was not where we needed to be. And we were telling our guys in the first half, usually in the first half, when you're on the defensive end in front of your bench, you can hear the guys communicating. And in the first half, our communication wasn't good because we're like, guys, you're not talking. So in the second half, when you're away from our bench, you really rely on your communication. And, it wasn't just our young guys, man. I felt like we had a stretch to start the second half where we didn't get back in transition. There was no communication. Guys didn't step up. We left shooters wide open. And then once that starts to happen, then you know that our minds just aren't clear. So I'm just glad that we were able to find a unit today that played hard in the most difficult situation. So that's something positive that we can take from the game, that we didn't just lay down. We played hard till the end. But we have to address the communication. We have to address the rebounding. We definitely have to address the turnovers.
Did that look like the key sequence to you, that early run in the second half?
Absolutely. That was the key. And I got to figure out, what we have to do better to start second halves, because we did the same thing versus Iona, and it is something that we talked about. But it's something that I'll get with my coaching staff and we'll address it. We'll figure it out.
When you have a team that doesn't have like the one go-to guy, like where any night it could be 8-9 different guys, what's the process like for you in game, especially early on, of sort of figuring out, all right, who's got it tonight, who's got a little bit of a mismatch? Like, is that something you want to try to figure out in the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes? How does that process go during the
I want to
game?
get stops, and I want to get out in transition. Because when you get stops, you get out in transition, and everybody's touching the ball, everybody's getting easy baskets, we're getting fouls, getting to the foul line. that's what's best for our team. So if we're not getting stops and converting off of our stops, then, now we gotta figure out in a half court who's scoring the ball, what plays are we running for who, and, any given night it could be somebody different. I think it's gonna really be predicated on what the matchup is, the best matchups are for us each game versus each individual opponent.
Kind of bringing it back to Yende, he had his first game wasn't so great. This game definitely much better. You think kind of last game was kind of first game nerves, and you think this could be a big confidence booster for him moving forward?
I hope so. I mean, this year is a learning experience because we're so young. We got so many new pieces, and we have a tough schedule, man. Our first game was against an NCAA tournament team. Our second game was against the Big Five champs. Our third game is against another NCAA tournament team. So we're going to be battle tested, and that's the best part about being at Salle, playing in the Big Five. You got to be ready to go, man, because there are no nights off, and I think our guys will learn from today. We can't dwell on tonight's loss because we got a quick turnaround. We got Temple at home on Saturday, and we just got to get back to the drawing board and prepare for the Owls.
You expect to be a good rebounding team? You expect to be a good rebounding team this season overall?
Do we?
Yeah.
We do. We do expect to be a good rebounding team because this year we have bigger guards than we had last year. Last year we played lineups where, we would have 3 guards that were 6 foot out there on the floor together. And this year we can play multiple guards that are 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" together on the floor. So I expect to be a better rebounding team. I think that our forwards actually need to do a better job rebounding. I think Ed Croswell, has the reputation of a great rebounder. So now people are really focusing on keeping him off the glass. Need him to get back to being a little bit more active, keeping balls alive. Same thing with Jared Kimbrough. And we didn't play Brandon Stone that much today, just because he wasn't 100%. So and I saw it, and it didn't make sense to have him out there not at full strength. So, but we do expect to be a better rebounding team for sure, Mike.
How much did Dingle have your attention after his first game?
He's a big time freshman. He has a chance to be one of the best guards that Penn's had here in a long time. I know his father well, and I think he's going to have a special career.